So a judge Louis Lyman, has thrown out Justin Baldoni's $400 million defamation lawsuit against Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, saying, quote, the Wayfarer parties, Cyber Wayfarer is like Justin Baldoni's production company, quote, the Wayfarer parties have alleged that Reynolds and publicist Leslie Sloan made additional statements accusing Baldoni of sexual misconduct, and that the Times made additional statements accusing the Wayfarer parties of engaging in a smear campaign. But the Wayfarer parties have not alleged that Reynolds, Sloan, or the Times would have seriously doubted these statements were true based on the information available to them, as is required for them to be liable for defamation under applicable law, end quote. He basically argues that Lively's accusations of sexual harassment are legally protected, and therefore they're immune from suit, right? So he dismissed the entire lawsuit, but he is allowing Baldoni's team to amend and refile some of the allegations in relation to contract interference. Of course, this Lively's lawyers took a victory lap, saying, quote, today's opinion is a total victory and a complete vindication for Blake Lively, along with those that Justin Baldoni and the Wayfarer parties dragged into their retaliatory lawsuit, including Ryan Reynolds, Leslie Sloan, and the New York Times. As we have said from day one, this $400 million lawsuit was a sham, and the court saw right through it. We look forward to the next round, which is seeking attorney's fees, treble damages, and punitive damages against Baldoni, Sarowitz, Nathan, and the other Wayfarer parties who perpetrated this abusive litigation, end quote. So really, pouring salt into the wound, right? Similarly, another one of these people that was being accused of defamation, the New York Times, right? A spokesperson for the legacy newspaper said, quote, we are grateful to the court for seeing the lawsuit against the New York Times for what it was, a meritless attempt to stifle honest reporting. Our journalists went out and covered carefully and fairly a story of public importance, and the court recognized that the law is designed to protect just that sort of journalism. We will continue to stand up in court for our journalism and for our journalists when their work comes under attack, end quote. So, of course, this is all part of the larger feud, the beef between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni that originated with them working together on the film adaptation of It Ends With Us. Originally there was tensions over creative differences, then it boiled over into alleged sexual harassment, and I should make clear though, sexual harassment not being in this case that he was trying to come on to her, but rather just saying things that she deemed to be inappropriate, or doing things that she deemed to be inappropriate. Lively then kind of fed her story to the New York Times, who published a kind of a profile about this whole situation. Baldoni then sued both Lively and New York Times for defamation. Lively then countersued, making her accusations, her social accusations, now like legal, suing him for it. And since then, they basically have been sparring back and forth in the court of public opinion, releasing different, evidence or statements or tactics that, or really a Rorschach test of where you kind of fall on this scale. So, one example is they released, footage from the set. Justin Baldoni's team did. And if you supported Baldoni, you go, see, he didn't do anything wrong. But then if you agree with Lively, you go, oh, look, she's clearly uncomfortable. So you really see what you want to see. But again, this ruling makes sense, at least when it comes for the legal requirements for defamation. Because in order to prove defamation, you have to prove that the defendant willfully disregarded the facts and acted with malice. You can't sue someone for defamation for saying something that's not true. Defamation is only legally valid as a thing you can sue someone for if they willingly lied. And not only willingly lied, but they did it for malicious reasons. But that's really hard to prove, right? Unless you have an email chain going clearly this isn't true, but I hate this person, so let's run this story. That would be defamation in a legal sense. This is really hard to prove that, right? So Lively has won the battle, but she has certainly not won the war, right? There's still another lawsuit. This time she's on the offense, suing him for the initial sexual harassment and retaliation concerns. And I'm really looking forward is the wrong word, but it's going to be good when this goes to trial, because unlike sparring in the court of public opinion, legal courts, there's discovery, there's evidence, there's cross-examination, which really brings to light a lot of truth, right? So she still has, there's there's still another battle to be fought, but I think that will be really good for all of us third parties because it'll give us more insight into the facts. Because again, you can peacock in the press, but when it comes to the court, you are under oath, and you can't just be bringing false evidence or false testimony. You can, but if you get found out, then you could get in a lot of trouble, right? So there's still that battle, but then also this battle might not even be officially over. Baldoni is preparing new evidence. I got a quote here from his lawyer, Brian Friedman, saying, quote, Miss Lively and her team's predictable declaration of victory is false. So let's be clear about the latest ruling. While the court dismissed the defamation-related claims, the court has invited us to amend 4 out of the 7 claims against Miss Lively, which will showcase additional evidence and refined allegations, end quote. So this might just kind of be grandstanding, just trying to save face, trying to say like, oh, if anything, this is actually good because it'll allow us to bring even more evidence. I think they're probably just figuring out what the fuck are we going to do, right? But in any case, the saga continues. I don't think this is going to be going to trial until March 2026. So we still have a long way to go, and a lot can happen between. 9 months is a long time. It's a long time. It's enough time to make a human being in a woman's belly, and it's going to be a long time. And it's enough time for this situation to get even more. This beef to get even beefier. Wow, what an interesting story. I'm sure you have some thoughts about the topic, so comment below, let me know what you think. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really, really helps people find the channel and makes me feel all warm inside. Until next time, I'm Peter Mancuso. Peace out.